how should the average person think about getting in? Is it too late for them? How do they think about, saving in it versus investing in it, things like that?
Yeah, so I always like to tell people to think really long term when they purchase Bitcoin. Think of it as a way to save in something that can't be debased. And you just have to understand if your life is feeling more expensive, you're probably saving in the wrong money, or at least you're thinking of the wrong money, because the food's getting more expensive. It's because the money itself is losing value. As the houses are all getting really expensive, it's $1 can't buy as much house as it used to. But for people that have saved in Bitcoin over the last 3 or 4 years, everything's getting cheaper.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because you can't print more Bitcoin. It's actually a scarce asset that actually increases in value as they continue to debase the other currency. And so you have to just think about, hey, yes, this thing can move in the short term. The price in fiat terms can move in the short term. But I own something that's very, very scarce that is actually going to benefit from the continued money printing that's going to happen in the future. And so I always recommend people just zoom out, understand that as Bitcoin gets adopted, as this trend continues, that it becomes more popular, more influential, as the governments and major financial institutions continue to build on it, and we're still in the very early days of this, there's only one thing that can happen to Bitcoin's price, because the supply is completely fixed. And so if there's more demand for something that's fixed, it's just basic supply and demand economics, where the price is it's gonna go up in value. And so yes, it's gonna be choppy. It's a choppy ride, but when you think long term about what you actually want to save your wealth in for the next 10, 20, 50 years, it's hard to look at any other investment that has the same asymmetric profile or opportunity as Bitcoin today. It's we can get into like other real estate. Has issues. It has maintenance issues. It's physical. There's natural disasters. There could be changes in tax policies. It could be seized easily. So it's like, do I want to own that for 50, 100 years? I don't know. Do I want to buy some stocks? Most businesses fail over long periods of time. Majority of them fail. Do I want to hold stocks of a specific company or index funds where most of them are duds? I don't know. Probably not. I want to own something that I know is going to be scarce and it's going to be around for the next 50 or 100 years. And that's why I think people should own Bitcoin and think very, very long term about holding on to it.
Good. Do we have any questions? Anybody want to ask Sam or myself any questions?
I'm not that what is bringing up to ask. I do buy it.
Oh, cool. That's great.
I retire and so it's small amount.
Yeah, that's great. I think a small amount goes a long way too in a portfolio. That's the one thing I'd say too is, you don't have to buy 100% of your net worth into Bitcoin. Even 1%, 5% has been shown to have meaningful difference to a portfolio because it moves differently than the rest of your portfolio. And then also, if we're even remotely right about where this could be going, 1% allocation to 5%, it's going to grow pretty meaningfully, and in a short time, it could actually make up a greater percentage of your overall net worth. But position sizing is important for people because it's very volatile. You don't want to overexpose yourself and get worried about, it being down 50, 20%, whatever it is. And so it's just about risk management. So there's nothing wrong with that. I just recommend people purchase what they feel comfortable with, but the wrong allocation is 0. That's what I would say today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Questions. What was the other three analysts you said?
I didn't say to SWIFT. Well, I think we were talking about mBridge, Project mBridge, which is from the BIS, Bank of International. M, with the letter M. Yeah, the letter M.
Yep.
So M and then bridge. And so that's being built by the BIS, Bank of International Settlements. And that is a new way for countries to pay each other, basically.
Yeah, it's like a Hong Kong, Bank of China, Saudi Arabia, UAE. They're all kind of piloting this new system of CBDCs together to try to, like you said, kind of compete with SWIFT.
You better see the U.S. government on it.
Well, today the U.S. owns 213,000 Bitcoin. So they're actually the 5th largest holder of Bitcoin, just from seizures over the years. And they haven't sold it. So technically they already own Bitcoin right now. Do I think like the Federal Reserve is going to buy it and put it on its balance sheet? I mean, maybe.
If they were smart.
If they were smart. I mean, like, they still own some gold on there, so.
The flip side to that is maybe what might go down as maybe one of the worst moves in history from a government is right now Germany has been sitting on billions of dollars of Bitcoin, and they've been selling it all. And there's been talks of the U.S. selling their Bitcoin as well, but it would be like, I live at the beach, I own the beach, and I have, I own all the sand because I own the beach, and I have one scarce asset that I'm going to trade to Sam for more sand.
Yeah.
I already have the sand. Why would I give up the one scarce asset from our sand? So the U.S. is literally going to give up, could potentially, or Germany's giving up their scarce asset or their Bitcoin for more currency that they print. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It reminds me of in the past where, tribes have used seashells as currencies in the past. And then they come in, like foreigner comes in, and they have other precious resources, and then they bring the seashells from somewhere else, and they say, oh yeah, I'll give my precious like gold or whatever, and I'll take more seashells. It's the same thing. They're trading something very scarce for something that, like you said, they can print. And so I think they've sold, similarly, they had 50,000 Bitcoin seized from a movie's piracy site. They've sold off, I think, at least half of it by
75%, I think.
I think they sold out about 30,000 Bitcoin. And I think when they look back on that, I mean, that's going to be very, very silly. They're going to really kick themselves.
Yeah.
But the U.S. government has sold a little bit here and there. But they like I said, they still own 213,000 or about 210,000, I think, right now. And you got to think why they aren't selling like Germany. They've held on to it for many, many years.
And there's been some talk, let's say rumors coming out of the Trump administration about potentially starting like a strategic Bitcoin allocation for the United States. Nothing official. It's rumors on the wire, so to speak.
Yeah. Right now, El Salvador is in the lead. So El Salvador buys a Bitcoin a day. They're stacking sats slowly, just at the government level. And the thing about Bitcoin is there is really a first mover advantage for people adopting it. That's the game theory. If you decide to sell your Bitcoin or not adopt it, somebody else is going to do that. And so if they continue to benefit from Bitcoin, like El Salvador is doing right now, eventually nations are going to wake up and look at that and be like, well, maybe we should just buy a little bit too. And then you see how this could be a flywheel of momentum for Bitcoin. And the beauty about Bitcoin is everybody benefits who owns Bitcoin at that point. And so very early days, though. I mean, it's like early days with the institutionalization of Bitcoin with these large Wall Street firms and nation state adoption. We are really just like right at the start of that. So when people say they're late, I think that's nonsense. I think we're very, very early. Bitcoin's about 15 years old. I think it's very, very early days for Bitcoin still. I mean, just look around in this room right now, Everyone's still out there looking at gold.